was like a kind of a sign or a blessing for them. So basically they started construction only in 1851 because in 1848-49 there was a big ongoing revolution and freedom fight against the Austrians. After the freedom fight was over, of course, all of our revolutions were crushed, unfortunately. We're here in the gateway between East and West, right? And somehow we were always the place for this power struggle. And as soon as we were liberated, usually we were occupied by our liberators. And this is that's what happened with the Austrians, who helped us to get rid of the Ottoman Empire at the time, who was kind of at the time a menace. I'm not talking current politics, but it's history. So yeah, we were fighting them, and then the Austrians decided that they're just going to rule us now. So then in 1848, we tried to revolt, but they crushed us. Long story short, in 1851, they started to build a basilica, and everything seemed to be going pretty well until about 1867-68, when the first architect died of old age. That's fine enough. They brought in the second architect, who was a very, very famous one, the same one who designed the Opera House, the beautiful Opera House on Andrássy Avenue, which is also called the Champs-Élysées of the East. I don't know if you've seen the Opera House yet. It's another thing to do before you go home. Maybe if we'll have time to walk down there. However, the second architect faced a huge problem within the first year of his taking over the project, because unfortunately, the very first architect, who, they have built up all the way to the dome level, because of poorly calculated, support system of the dome, and by using poorer quality stone materials that they just kind of got in donation, and he didn't really check where it's all coming from. There was again a huge storm. Mother Nature also said something the second time after the flood, and it just actually collapsed. It imploded onto itself. Lucky thing was it happened during the night. There was a big gusts of storm, and nobody got injured. According to the urban legends, there was one little kid, like a child, walking across the square. God knows what he was doing there in the middle of the night. He was the only eyewitness, but everybody heard and saw the rubble the next day. So it took them almost a year to clear away the rubble and restart constructions. The whole thing basically collapsed, and some support walls remained. So usually, actually, I start this story, which I forgot this time, is what's your guess? How long did this construction last? In the middle of the 19th century. Okay, now you know the story of this catastrophe, but what's your guess? Like, normally it would take, how much? 10 years? Yeah, normally it would take about, I would say 10 to 14 max. With this story,
50.
54, depending on
To construct this?
Because they had to start over. And then the second architect also died of old age, and they had to bring in the third, who finished the embellishments, the statue work, the artwork. So 3 architects, 54 years. That's basically, half a century. So like the locals of Budapest, started to create all these kind of sayings and like catchwords at that time, like, Mr. Teacher or Mrs. Professor, I'll hand in the homework when the basilica is finished. I'll give you back the money I owe you when the basilica is finished, meaning like sometime in the future or never. So you can imagine, it's a little bit like the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona, but it's not taking that long because that's really like never finished. I don't know if you know that story. There's a church they're building in Barcelona for like, I don't know how long, 80 years now, and like there's always one more little tower. So basically, they handed it over in 1906, and it's named after Saint Stephen. So, how many of you who Saint Stephen was in Hungarian history?
I know who Saint Stephen.
Did you do your homework? Or only for civic engagement, which is also good. But you're in Hungary now? Okay, no, that's fine. That's why I'm here as tour guide.
The Saint Stephen in the Bible?
No.
Differences.
Well,
I also know that one, but I don't know that of Hungary.
Some of them.
some of them are.
Yeah, he was the first
They add a lot after.
something.
He was
First
the
deacon.
First something. Actually, that's already a half a point.
You
He
mean
was
the Stephen of the Bible, right?
No,
There
no,
was-
no. And actually, if you've been to Vienna, he's also not that Saint